My name is Kalini. I still remember the sound of the door slamming behind me. Not just the noise, but the finality of it. The kind of sound that echoes in your chest long after your ears stop ringing. It was a Thursday. Raining. Of course it was raining. Because apparently, my life needed the full dramatic effect. I was 16 years old, standing on the porch of the only home I'd ever known, holding a garbage bag with whatever clothes I could grab in the 3 minutes she gave me. "Get out. I'm done with you." Those were her last words. My mother, the woman who was supposed to love me unconditionally. And just like that, I wasn't her problem anymore. I didn't cry right away. I think I was too shocked. Too numb. I just stood there, rain soaking through my hoodie, watching the lights inside go off one by one. She didn't even look back. Didn't check to see if I was okay. Didn't care where a 16-year-old girl with no money and no plan would go in the middle of the night. I thought about knocking, begging, apologizing for whatever it was I'd done. Wrong this time because, honestly, I'd lost track. Was it my grades? My attitude? The fact that I existed and reminded her of my dad who left? I never really knew. And that night, standing there drenched and discarded, I realized I'd never get an answer. So I ended up at my friend Jessica's house. Her mom opened the door, took one look at me, and pulled me inside without asking questions. They gave me a towel, some hot chocolate, and a couch to sleep on. I lied and said I had a fight with my mom and just needed space for the night. Jessica's mom didn't buy it, but she didn't push either. That couch became my home for 2 weeks. Then Jessica's mom sat me down and gently explained that as much as she wanted to help, she couldn't take legal responsibility for a minor. She offered to call social services. I begged her not to. The thought of foster care, of being shipped around like unwanted furniture, terrified me more than being homeless. So I lied again. Said my mom and I made up, said everything was fine, and then I was back on the streets, but this time with a plan. I couldn't go to school anymore, not regularly. Anyway, I needed money. I needed to survive. So I lied about my age and got a job at a fast food place that didn't ask too many questions. They paid cash under the table, and I worked every shift they'd give me. I slept wherever I could. Sometimes in the 24-hour laundromat. Sometimes on the bus, riding routes all night because it was warm and safe. Once a bus driver noticed. He didn't kick me off. Instead, he told me about a youth shelter downtown. Said they didn't ask questions and let you stay as long as you were trying. That shelter saved my life. It wasn't easy. God, it wasn't easy. The shelter had rules: be out by 7 a.m., back by 9 p.m., no drugs, no drama. I followed every single one because I had no other choice. I worked my fast food job during the day, studied for my GED at the library in between shifts, and came back to the shelter at night too exhausted to even feel sorry for myself. Some nights I'd lie in that narrow bunk bed, surrounded by strangers with their own broken stories, and I'd think about her. My mom. I'd wonder if she ever thought about me. If she regretted it. If she even noticed I was gone. The anger kept me going. I promised myself I'd make it. Not for her, never for her, but to prove that I could. That I wasn't the burden she said I was. That I was worth something, even if she couldn't see it. I got my GED at 17. The day passed, I cried in the testing center bathroom. Not sad tears, angry, triumphant tears. I wanted to call her, to say, look what I did without you, but I didn't have her number anymore. And honestly, I wasn't sure she cared. By 18, I'd saved enough to rent a tiny room in a shared apartment. It was barely big enough for a bed and a dresser, but it was mine. I worked 2 jobs, the fast food place, and weekend shifts stocking shelves at a grocery store. I was tired all the time, but I was free. A manager at the grocery store, Mr. Patel, noticed I was always reading during breaks. Business books, self-help, anything I could get from the library. One day he asked me what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't have an answer. Surviving had been my only goal. He told me about community college, about financial aid, about how his own daughter had started there and now worked in tech, making more money than he'd ever seen. He said I reminded him of her hungry, determined, stubborn. That conversation changed everything. I enrolled in community college at 19. It took me 3 years to get my associate degree because I could only take 2 classes a semester while working full-time. But I did it. I studied business management because it felt practical, stable, like something that could actually lead. Somewhere and it did at 22, I got an internship at a small marketing firm. It was unpaid at first, but they liked my work and hired me part-time. By 23, I was full-time with benefits. By 25, I was a project manager. I had my own apartment, a real 1-bedroom with a kitchen and a living room. I had a car. I had savings. I had friends who felt like family. I built a life I was proud of brick by brick, with no help from the woman who was supposed to help me build it in the first place. I thought about her less and less. Blocked her number years ago, not that she ever called. I didn't look her up on social media. Didn't ask mutual acquaintances about her. She was a closed chapter. A scar that had healed over, still there, but no longer bleeding. I was 26. Happy and whole and then she came back It was a Saturday morning. I was at my favorite coffee shop, laptop open, working on a presentation. My phone buzzed. A Facebook message from an account I didn't recognize. "Sweetheart, it's Mom. Please, I need to talk to you. It's important." My heart dropped into my stomach. Sweetheart. She called me sweetheart. Like she had any right to that word. Like she hadn't thrown me away like trash a decade ago. I stared at the message for a full 5 minutes. My hands were shaking. I closed the laptop, left the coffee shop, went home and paced my apartment like a caged animal. She sent another message an hour later. "I know I don't deserve your response, but please, I'm sick. I need help. I have no one else." And there it was. Not, "I'm sorry," not, "I was wrong," just, "I need help." Of course, I didn't respond for 3 days. I let her sit in that silence the way she let me sit in mine for 10 years. But curiosity and maybe some sick need for closure got the better of me. I agreed to meet. A public place. A diner near my apartment. I got there first and watched her walk in. She looked older, tired, thinner. Her hair was graying, her shoulders hunched. For a split second, I almost felt sorry for her. Then I remembered that night in the rain. She sat down across from me and I didn't say anything. Just stared. "You look good," she said, her voice small. "You look successful. What do you want?" I kept my voice flat. She flinched. I'm sick. Diabetes. Complications. I can't work anymore. I lost my apartment. I've been staying with friends, but... She trailed off, eyes welling up. I have nowhere to go. Silence. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I know I don't deserve to ask, but I'm your mother. I need you." Something in me snapped. "You're my mother?" My voice was louder than I intended. The couple in the next booth glanced over. I didn't care. "You stopped being my mother the night you threw me out like garbage." I was 16. 16. Do you have any idea what that was like? She opened her mouth, but I wasn't done. I slept on buses. In laundromats. I ate 1 meal a day because that's all I could afford. I worked jobs that paid under the table because I was too young to legally work full-time. I studied for my GED in a homeless shelter. A shelter, Mom. While you were at home in your warm bed, I was wondering if I'd be safe that night. Tears were streaming down my face now, but I didn't stop. And you know what the worst part was? I kept thinking you'd come looking for me. That you realize you made a mistake. That you'd miss me. But you never did. You never called. Never checked if I was alive. You didn't care then. So why the hell should I care now? She was sobbing. I was overwhelmed. I was depressed. I wasn't in a good place, neither was I. I slammed my hand on the table. I was a child. You're a child. And you gave up on me when I needed you most. So don't sit here and ask me to save you now. I left the diner, drove home, cried so hard I had to pull over twice to not my phone ring that night. It was my best friend, Maya, someone who'd been there through the worst of it. I heard what happened, she said gently. Jessica's mom told me. Are you okay? I don't know, I admitted. Do you want my advice? Always. You don't owe her anything. Not money, not forgiveness, not even a conversation. But whatever you decide, make sure it's for you. Not for her. Not out of guilt. For you. I thought about that for days. In the end, I called her. Told her I'd help, but on my terms. I gave her a list of resources. Shelters, social services, disability assistance programs. I offered to pay for 1 month in a cheap motel while she got on her feet. But I was clear. I wasn't giving her money directly. I wasn't inviting her into my life. And I didn't forgive her. I'm doing this because I'm a better person than you were to me, I said. Not because you deserve it. She thanked me through tears. Sighed she understood. Said she was proud of me. I hung up before she could say more. It's been 6 months since that conversation. She's in a subsidized apartment now, getting treatment, surviving. We don't talk. I check in with the social worker I connected her with every few weeks, just to make sure she's okay. But that's it. Some people think I should have done more. Others think I did too much. Honestly, I don't care what anyone thinks. I did what I needed to do to sleep at night. I help not because she's my mother, but because I refuse to let her turn me into someone bitter and cruel. I refuse to let what she did define who I became. I'm 26. I have a career I love, friends who are family, and a life I built from nothing. I survived the worst thing that ever happened to me, and I came out stronger. My mother doesn't get credit for that. But she doesn't get to take it away either. The door she slammed 10 years ago? I've built a whole new house since then, and this time I'm the one holding the keys.